So, hi and welcome to Owly Classes. So, in the mains class, we discuss fundamental duties. Okay, fundamental duties. So, we fundamental rights discuss we discuss fundamental duties and topic. Duties and rights and fundamental rights in the class will discuss. Duties and rights and privileges and rights the rights and duties So first of all, duties first of all, MK Gandhi quote MK Gandhi that we must focus on so duties Indian constitutional law. Okay, then the 8th amendment until the 8th constitution amendment added the 11th fundamental duty. Okay. So and consists of a single article. Okay, it has 11 sub-articles. Okay, 11 sub-articles. Okay, so ഇതിന്റെ ആവശ്യകത ആദ്യമായിട്ട് തോന്നിയത് 1975 to 1977 time period. What was the specialty of this time period? The national emergency took place. The national emergency took place during this period. Your need and the necessity of these duties was felt. Okay, so the need and the necessity was felt during this time. Okay, then it was added by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment in 1976 on recommendation of the Sovereign Singh Committee. On recommendation of the Sovereign Singh Committee, it was added. Okay, then in addition, the 42nd Constitutional Amendment 1976 on recommendation of the Sovereign Singh Committee added 10 fundamental duties, and the 11th one was added by the 86th Constitutional Amendment. Okay, so the idea of fundamental duties, the idea of fundamental duties was inspired from the USSR Constitution. USSR or the Soviet Union, now it is called as Russia. So it was taken from the USSR Constitution, now called as the Russia. And remember, the duties are only applicable to the citizens of India. Only applicable to the citizens of India. Okay, and it is not extended to the foreigners. Okay, then the only democratic constitution in the world with a list of duties of citizens is the Japanese Constitution. Okay, that is a fact which you need to know. The Japanese Constitution, this is the only constitution in the world, with the only democratic constitution in the world with a list of duties for its citizens. Okay, then duties are much more inclusive and comprehensive in spirit. They cover the woman, environment, tolerance, education, unity and integrity of India. The noble ideals of the national movement are also covered in this. Okay, so interestingly, one fact is that the Sovereign Singh Committee, the Sovereign Singh Committee, when they gave the recommendation of the fundamental duties, they said that paying tax and voting in election should be considered as a fundamental duty of an Indian citizen. But notably, it has not been included in the fundamental duties. Which are they? Paying taxes, voting in election. So these two was also included in the Sovereign Singh Committee's recommendation to be included in the fundamental duties, but notably, it was not added in the fundamental duties. Okay, so what is the notion of the fundamental duties, if you ask? So since ancient times, dharma, dharma or dharmam, dharma. Okay, so dharma was a sense of duty that has been integrated into the Indian way of life. So from dharma itself, this duty was derived. Okay, so then so from there it was taken. Then always remember, rights and duties, they're always the two sides of a same coin. They're integral, inseparable and correlative. These three words are very, very important. They are integral, they are inseparable, and they are correlative. Once UPSC asked whether rights and duties are correlative or not, This was asked in the UPSC prelims examination. So remember these things. Okay. So that's all about the basics. Okay. Then why we need duties? What duties serves us means duty serves as a warning, or you could say as a reminder against antisocial activities. Okay. Also, it envisages the citizens' active role in the process of nation building. Okay. So it shows that the citizens are not a mute spectator, rather than they should take actively in the process of nation building. Okay. So we have from Article 51A, subclause A till subclause 51A, subclause K, we have all the fundamental duties. I hope you have read the fundamental duties for your prelims. Okay, so I'm not going to repeat them again. So just if you haven't read them, just go and read. Just you need to know what are fundamental duties and what are fundamental rights. You need to know which of them are fundamental duties, which of them are fundamental rights. You need to clearly differentiate them. Okay. So we are not going to read them again. Okay. Then now we need to know from the mains perspective, what is the significance of the fundamental duty? What is the significance of the fundamental duties? Okay, first of all, they are a moral duties. They are a synthesis of moral duties plus civic duties. So what is a moral duty and what is a civic duty? Okay, moral duty means the noble ideas of freedom struggle. Example, in the noble ideas of freedom struggle. Then what is civic duties? Respecting the constitution. It's an example. So this is a synthesis, a mix of moral duties and civic duties. Okay. Then the duties, they integrates and codifies Indian way of life. Indian way of life. Okay. So the duties integrates and codifies the Indian way of life. Okay. Then they serve as an inspiration. They serve as inspiration for the citizen and they promote a sense of discipline. Okay. Then for the judiciary, they serve as a beacon light. Okay. Beacon light for the judiciary. Okay. So guys, since I'm explaining in English, if anyone has doubt, you could ask me. I could explain in Malayalam also. If you have any doubts, anyone has any doubt, use the chat box and ask me. I'll explain in Malayalam also. Okay. Fine. Okay, so this is all about the significance. So remember, they are a synthesis. They are a mixture of the moral duties and the civic duties. They integrate and codify the Indian way of life. They serve as an inspiration to the citizens. Then they are the beacon light for the judiciary. Okay, I hope this is clear. Next, about the Sovereign Committee recommendation. Okay, Sovereign Committee recommendations. Okay, so first of all, they recommended that inclusion of a separate chapter. They said we need a separate chapter for the fundamental duties. Okay. Okay, but we have only one article. Okay. Then they said to include 8 fundamental duties in the Indian Constitution at first. Then they said that if anyone had non-observed the fundamental duties or they have done the infringement of the duties, Parliament may provide legislation for it. Parliament may provide a law for the penalty or the punishment. If someone doesn't follow or someone infringes the fundamental duties, Parliament can decide a law for the penalty and the punishment. Okay. Then this law, okay, the punishment or the penalty imposing law will be out of the purview of judicial. That means the judiciary cannot interfere and cannot ask, why have you decided such a punishment? Okay, so it was out of the preview of the judicial review. Okay. Then they said that duty to pay taxes shall also be included as a fundamental duty. So these were the recommendations of the Sovereign Singh Committee. Okay. Then similarly, this committee came in 1976. In 1999, okay, another committee came. That was the Verma Committee. Okay, Verma Committee. Verma Committee recommended that Verma Committee came for to review the duties. Okay, to review the duties. Okay, so they recommended that we need to reorient the approaches in school curriculum and teachers education program so that we could implement the fundamental duties in higher and professional education. That is one of the great recommendation that Verma Committee gave. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So Verma Committee അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു recommendation ആണ് കൊടുത്തത്. സോ അതായത് സ്കൂൾ കരിക്കുലത്തിലും ടീച്ചേഴ്സിൻ്റെ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനിലും എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം ചേഞ്ചസ് കൊണ്ടുവരണം സോ ദാറ്റ് നമുക്ക് ഫണ്ടമെന്റൽ ഡ്യൂട്ടീസ് ഹയർ ആൻഡ് പ്രൊഫഷണൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനിൽ കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ പറ്റുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ഓക്കെ, പിന്നെ സുപ്രീം കോടതി എന്ത് 2003 സെൻട്രൽ ഗവൺമെന്റിനോട് പറഞ്ഞു നിങ്ങളൊരു നിയമം കൊണ്ടുവരിക. എന്തിനാന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ജസ്റ്റിസ് വർമ്മ കമ്മിറ്റി റെക്കമെൻഡ് ചെയ്ത പോലെ തന്നെ ഫണ്ടമെന്റൽ റൈറ്റ്സ് ആൻഡ് സിറ്റിസൺസ് എൻഫോഴ്സ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി ഒരു നിയമം കൊണ്ടുവരണം എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു. ഓക്കെ, സോ അതിന്റെ ഭാഗത്ത് എന്ത് ചെയ്തു, വർമ്മ കമ്മിറ്റി എന്ത് ചെയ്തു, കുറച്ച് ലീഗൽ പ്രൊവിഷൻസിന്റെ എക്സിസ്റ്റൻസ് ഐഡന്റിഫൈ ചെയ്ത് പറഞ്ഞു. അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായി വർമ്മ കമ്മിറ്റി കുറച്ച് നിയമങ്ങൾ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച് തുടങ്ങി. ഈ നിയമങ്ങൾ കുറച്ചുകൂടി നിങ്ങൾ നല്ല രീതിയിൽ ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്താൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഫണ്ടമെന്റൽ ഡ്യൂട്ടീസ് നല്ല രീതിയിൽ ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. സോ അത് ഏതൊക്കെയാന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് വൺ വാസ് ദി prevention of insults to National Honor Act 1971. Okay, this was the first one. Second one, protection of civil rights. Third, representation of People's Act 1951. Fourth one, Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and Forest Conservation Act 1980. So Varma Committee already said that there are existing some legal provisions which already have the fundamental rights in them. So if we could implement them in a better way, we could implement the fundamental rights in a better way. They said that. So what I want to say to you is that take these 4 acts and find out these acts correlated to which fundamental duty. Okay, you could go and check out that this Prevention of Insults of National Honors Act correlates to which of the fundamental duties as mentioned in the Constitution. Okay, and if there is any other new law which has been added to implement the fundamental duties, you need to check out that also and you need to submit it to me. Okay, so that's a homework for you. Go and check out which all fundamental duties are correlated with these 4 acts. Apart from that, check out if there is any new law which is implemented to implement the which came to implement the fundamental duties. So if there's such any law, take out that law also. Okay, okay, that's a homework for you. Okay, okay, remember that. Okay, then the correlation between the fundamental rights and the fundamental duties, fundamental rights, fundamental duties. Okay, so fundamental rights was taken from the USA Constitution. Here it was taken from the USSR Constitution. Okay, this is written in the part 3, article 12 to 35. Fundamental duties is taken in part 4A, article 51A. Okay, they are justiciable and they are enforceable. Okay, they are neither justiciable nor enforceable. Okay, then this is applicable to citizens as well as foreigners. Okay, so which are the fundamental rights only applicable to the citizens? Okay, that is Article 15, 16, 19, 29, 30. These are only applicable to citizens, not to the foreigners. And here, only Indian citizens, applicable only to Indian citizens. Okay. And this was there in the original constitution. This was already embedded in the original constitution. Okay. This was not embedded in the original constitution. These are self-enforceable. These are not self-enforceable. Okay. Then the responsibility of the fundamental rights, okay, to protect the rights of citizens is on whom? The responsibility to protect their rights is on the state. Then the responsibility to observe the duties is on the individual. Okay. The responsibility is on the state here, and it's on the individual here. Okay. Then fundamental rights are complementary to duties, and duties are complementary to fundamental rights. So that's what we mean by correlatives. Okay. So know this difference. Okay. Then what you have to understand is that two things you have to understand. First thing, duties are result of rights fulfillment. Okay. Duties are the results of rights fulfillment. Okay. So that what does that mean? Okay. In liberal democracies, when citizens are allowed to exercise their due rights, they will automatically fulfill the essential duties. Okay. And parallelly, what will happen? The government will take its duties seriously in providing better conditions for practicing the rights by citizens. Okay. So ഇതെന്താ സംഭവിക്കുന്നത് വെച്ചാൽ എന്താണ് ഡ്യൂട്ടീസ് റൈറ്റ്സ് ഓഫ് റിസൾട്ട് ഓഫ് റൈറ്റ്സ് ഫുൾഫിൽമെന്റ് എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ലിബറൽ ഡെമോക്രസിയിൽ സിറ്റിസൺസിന് അവരുടെ റൈറ്റ്സ് എക്സസൈസ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു നല്ല എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കൊടുത്താൽ എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? അവർ ഓട്ടോമാറ്റിക്കലി അവരുടെ എസെൻഷ്യൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഡ്യൂട്ടീസും ഫുൾഫിൽ ചെയ്യും. എന്തിനാന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നാഷന്റെ പുരോഗതിക്ക് വേണ്ടി. അപ്പോൾ ആ സമയത്ത് എന്ത് പറ്റും? പാരലലി ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? ഡ്യൂട്ടീസിനെ സീരിയസ് ആയിട്ട് കണക്കിലെടുത്ത് അവരെന്ത് ചെയ്യും? സിറ്റിസൺസിന് റൈറ്റ്സ് പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള നല്ല എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് കൊടുക്കും. So that's what we mean by duties are the result of rights fulfillment. Okay. For example, we could take an example. For example, right to equality. Okay. Right to equality, right against discrimination. Okay. Right of the minorities. These all are protected under the fundamental rights. Okay. So we have under the fundamental duties upholding the unity and integrity of India, promoting harmony, women's dignity, such things. And these will be automatically further covered. Why? Because they will be achieving, once they will be achieving these fundamental rights. So once they are achieving these fundamental rights, automatically that duties also will be automatically further, because they will be fulfilling their personal social aims. Okay. So similarly, when right to liberty and freedom is ensured, individuals' development will lead to excellence, scientific temper, and respect for national ideals. Okay. So when fundamental rights is fulfilled, automatically duties are also getting fulfilled. So that's why we are saying duties are a result of rights fulfilled. When a right is fulfilled, duties are also fulfilled. Okay. Understand. Then second thing, rights are result of duties fulfillment. See, UPSC could ask you a question of giving these two statements, of giving one statement and asking you to comment on this statement. So that's why we are explaining in detail. So what do you mean by rights are result of duties fulfillment? The free citizens, they will be conscious of their duties while enjoying their rights, because they know the rights are not absolute and cannot be enjoyed at the cost of others. Okay. So they are knowing everything about the duties and rights. Okay. So duties like respect for national ideals, protection of heritage, promotion of harmony. Okay. These things are said in the duties. Okay. So when these duties are said, what we do is that we make laws to fulfill them. Okay. So when these duties are tried to be fulfilled, they enjoy certain rights. For example, promoting the welfare of the citizen, or education interest of the backward class. Education interest of the backward classes is protected the fundamental rights by protection of minorities, education, everything. Okay. So when a duty is fulfilled, they enjoy rights of that. Okay. So this is why the reason we are saying that duties and rights are correlative. Everyone got the idea? You have any doubts? Anyone has any doubts in these two statements? The first and second statements are very, very important. You got the idea? Anyone has any doubt? Clear? എല്ലാവർക്കും മനസ്സിലായോ? എന്തെങ്കിലും സംശയമുണ്ടോ ഈ രണ്ട് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റിൽ? Is it clear to anyone? Clear? Fine. Okay. Then what are the judicial pronouncements related to this is that the Supreme Court in 1992 ruled that in determining the constitutional validity of any law, if that law in question tries to give effect to fundamental duties, then you can consider such law to be reasonable in relation to Article 14 or Article 19. So you cannot say that Article 4 and so such a law violated Article 14 or Article 19. You cannot never say that. 1992 Supreme Court പറഞ്ഞത് ഫണ്ടമെന്റൽ ഡ്യൂട്ടീസ് ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി ഒരു നിയമം കൊണ്ടുവന്നു. ആ സമയത്ത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ആർട്ടിക്കിൾ 14 അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആർട്ടിക്കിൾ 19 വയലേറ്റ് ചെയ്തു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അൺകോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻ ഒരിക്കലും ഡിക്ലെയർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല, ബിക്കോസ് ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ഗിവിംഗ് ആൻ ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റേഷൻ ഓഫ് ദി ഫണ്ടമെന്റൽ ഡ്യൂട്ടീസ്. Okay. Then remember some statements which you need to remember, that state can make laws to prevent violation of duties. State can make laws to prevent violation of duties. Okay. Duties cannot be imposed by writs. Okay. Duties are only to citizens of India. These three are very important. Note on them. Okay. Remember this. Next, we need to know about the criticism of the fundamental duties. The first criticism is that the terms mentioned in the fundamental duties are very vague and they are difficult to comprehend, okay, by a common man. So they lead to different interpretations. One may interpret in a different way, another may interpret in a different way. Okay. Then these codes are known just to say, but they are not, someone doesn't follow or someone does not do a fundamental duties, the court cannot ask them. So what is the use of this fundamental duties? That was the second criticism. Third criticism is that they are wrongly sequenced. So the critics are saying that you need to have added these fundamental duties after part 3 to keep them par with the fundamental rights. So it means that you need to show that they are correlative with the fundamental rights, then you need to have put them after the part 3. Why have you not added them after part 3? That was the critics. Okay. Then they said that more importance have been given to part 4, DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy, have been given more importance. Okay. So also you have increased the burden of part 3. Fundamental rights importance have been given. Okay. Then they said that important duties like paying tax, then voting in elections are not been included. Okay. So these are the criticism of the fundamental duties. Okay. Then as a final, what we could say is that in our modern times, the importance of the duties is growing. Okay. Okay. Why is this growing importance of duties? Why is this duties having growing importance? If you ask that, we could see that during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Bombay High Court, in viewing the COVID-19 pandemic, the Bombay High Court said that the citizens are always protective about their fundamental rights. So sometimes they need to remain themselves and discharge their fundamental duties. So COVID-19 was a difficult time. So these have remained ourselves that fundamental duty of citizen to promote the harmony and spirit of common brotherhood. This fundamental duty should be remembered by everyone. The court said. ഇപ്പോൾ കോടതി പറഞ്ഞൊരു കാര്യമാണ്, ബോംബെ ഹൈക്കോടതി COVID-19 പാൻഡമിക്കിനെ അതിനുശേഷം പറഞ്ഞൊരു കാര്യമാണ് ഹാർമണി പ്രൊമോട്ട് ചെയ്യുക, കോമൺ ബ്രദർഹുഡിന്റെ സ്പിരിറ്റ് പ്രൊമോട്ട്, ഇങ്ങനത്തുള്ള ഈ ഒരു ഡ്യൂട്ടിനെ എല്ലാവരും ഓർത്തിരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി കൊണ്ടുവന്നൊരു കാര്യമായിരുന്നു COVID-19 പാൻഡമിക്. സോ ഈ ഒരു ടൈമിൽ ഇത് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ് നീഡാണെന്നും ബോംബെ ഹൈക്കോടതി വ്യക്തമാക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട് ഡ്യൂട്ടീസിനെ കുറിച്ച്. ഓൾസോ ദ വൈസ് പ്രസിഡന്റ് റീസെന്റ് സെഡ് ദാറ്റ് you need to create awareness about the citizens' duty and need to make it a part of the curriculum at an appropriate level. He said that a list of fundamental duties be displayed in all educational institutions, offices, and public places across the country. Also, the government has launched a campaign to create awareness on the fundamental duties on Constitutional Day. So overall, a new idea is emerging that fulfilling our duties, both fundamental and legal, is a price that we are paying for living in society, and this price not be objected by anyone to pay. അതായത് നമ്മൾ ഒരു പുതിയൊരു ഐഡിയ ആണ് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുക, അതായത് ഡ്യൂട്ടീസ് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മൾ ഈ സൊസൈറ്റിയിൽ ജീവിക്കുന്നതിന് നമ്മളൊരു പ്രൈസ് പേ ചെയ്യുന്ന പോലെയാണെന്നാണ് വരുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു പ്രൈസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ആരും ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പാടില്ല. നമ്മൾ ഈ സൊസൈറ്റിയിൽ ജീവിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഈ പ്രൈസ് പേ ചെയ്യുക തന്നെ വേണം. അതിൽ ആരും തടയാനും ആരതിൽ എതിർപ്പ് രേഖപ്പെടുത്താനും പാടില്ല എന്നാണ് പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, സോ ദിസ് ഇസ് ഓൾ അബൌട്ട് ദി ഫണ്ടമെന്റൽ ഡ്യൂട്ടീസ് ബിക്കോസ് വി ഹാവ് കവേർഡ് ദി ഡ്യൂട്ടീസ് and the rights. Basics of duties and rights have been covered. Now, from the mains point of view, you need to know about the criticism, how these fundamental duties evolved, what are the correlation between them, and what makes duties duties special. So these things we have discussed. Okay, so any questions you have, you could ask me. Okay, so thank you.